Welcome to Nameless Debate Radio, where radioactivity is contagious.
I want to know the philosophical commentary.
Well, yeah, that's how we get what NDEs, those NDE exposures. That's great. I mean, it's kind of wild that we have a catalog of experiences after death, and those people remembering or recalling those last brainwaves. I don't think it's necessarily untrue to say that there is a heaven. There may be a heaven and hell. I'm not sure, but I think what it is more likely is that the last brainwave, depending on where you were as a human being, the last brainwave, the one, remember how we were talking about the alpha, theta, delta, those different brainwaves and how you experience them?
Oh yeah.
I think that if you die in one of those lower brainwaves, having a very low esteem of yourself, your brain merits you the same thing that you think you were worth.
But
so it gives you hell.
Don't you think whatever you are is bounded in your memory system?
It is. But here's
Then
a very
isn't
interesting
your memory
thing. Why does oh, go ahead.
Okay? Why does your isn't your memory system temporal?
It is. It's temporal. But I
what
think
about,
that you're.
What about dreaming? What about dreaming and so on? If the notion is that if you when you go to sleep, you die. But you dream maybe 6 times each night or something like that. Does that mean every time you dream, between every time you dream, you die?
No.
No, but what? But
you go into the same state of death. Yeah, your brain does go into the same state.
If you consider yourself a collection of your experiences, then no, you don't die. But if you consider yourself pure awareness that can optimize memory systems, it can recalibrate with your memory system, then yes, you die every night or every time you fall asleep.
But the brain's working really hard during sleep, right?
Yeah.
To sort everything out in the brain.
I wouldn't say sort everything out, but it's a different chemical state. It's a different chemical state of the brain.
I wonder if we will ever know this for certain.
Certainty is never guaranteed, bro. There is no certainty.
Yeah.
Entropy fucks everything up.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, this question is beyond me.
Sorry, guys. I had to leave for a second. I was helping one of my roommates move her art studio into a different part of the.
Oh, okay.
Different part of the house.
Do you believe in the heat death of the universe?
The heat death of the universe?
Yeah.
I mean, certainly. I don't think global warming matters in large scale perspective. I'm sorry. I don't know why I introduced that as a side concept. I don't think
why would you mention global warming here, though? Oh.
I don't know. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's kind of one of those things that I randomly do. Like I preface something with a bias that I already have towards something else because I think they're in relation to one another.
Oh, okay.
It's just a tick of my ADHD kind of personality.
I mean the notion that thermodynamic free energy there will be no free energy left in the universe, so we can no longer sustain processes that increases entropy.
No.
Of systems.
I think we're in a.
So you don't.
I think that we're in a
Entropy?
constant.
You don't.
Well, no, that everything that starts in order goes to chaos. Is that what
Yeah,
you're saying?
exactly.
Uh,
Yeah.
Well,
So
you're
basically,
talking
there's
about
no.
an ending. Why wouldn't it be just? Why wouldn't? Here's an interesting concept.
No, there is
If
no
mi-
ending. There is a
hold on
conceptual
a second.
ending.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Don't cut me off when I'm trying to. I just want to make this point real quick. All right. So why not the person that interpreted Revelations and all the books of the Bible? Maybe that's what they saw when they were trying to describe hell. Is that will be the heat death of the universe? You know,
Maybe.
it's not wholly
But
improbable that people that wrote the book of the Bible were actually inspired, but it's more probable that they were inspired through like
Um,
probabilities, because those
can I?
probabilities are highly likely.
I'll
Um,
I'll I'll give my 2 cents on this
go
because
for it.
what I think is religions are really relatable because they symbolize the mysteries of the human condition. They create stories and thus create meaning. And
Huh.
since you can recalibrate the stories with your human experience, you can relate to them. And I think religions are founded on the mysteries of the human condition, but they were used to manipulate people. And,
Oh, I certainly agree with you. No. I agree
yeah,
with you. I don't think that religions. Okay, so let's say it like this. Um, perhaps people are kept in fear of hell because if I was to make a moral hierarchy and set it up and say that it's absolutely true beyond the shadow of a doubt, and we get a Darth Dawkins, for instance, where we get these people that start arguing absolutism, or they start arguing in cyclical mannerisms, cyclical thought processes. We create enough dogmas surrounding a topic that we keep people primitive and withheld from ever progressing. Look, science is
well,
the new
I would,
religion, though. Be careful on
I
which
would,
side you drift to that, because if you do too much religion over science, you get religious zealots. If you do too much science over religion,
the
you get a bunch
science
of non-thinking, unfeeling pieces of shit.
science religion dichotomy is a false one. I reject that. And I would say if you were to extrapolate wisdom from religious scriptures, you could, but there's a high chance of misinterpreting it, and that's what people do. Most people don't
Sorry.
know how to think, therefore they believe. When
wait.
people don't have, when
You're
don't
saying that people that don't think believe, but is belief bad?
belief isn't bad. Value is
Okay.
subjective. I'm not
No, of
saying
course. I agree. I agree. Value is subjective.
yes.
But I'm saying that, if somebody doesn't think, for instance, somebody like me who started out very much believing, not having any thinking, makes a transition from believing to thinking. I don't think believing is necessarily the enemy here. I
No,
think it's
there
when
is
we
no
drift from
no
one
no. There is
side
no
to
enemy.
the
But
other.
listen, a comforting delusion is equally viable than a cynical.
Well, yeah, we all are experiencing comforting delusions right now. That's a part of the evolutionary process.
Exactly.
That's
But
I agree
no,
with
no,
you there.
not
So
everybody. I would disagree that not everybody is in a comforting delusion.
you're in a comforting delusion right now. Do you realize that if you were to experience reality as it is
But
raw
you're
all the
but you're
time,
but
that you would
you're
be in a constant state of like,
but you're defining a comforting delusion as epistemology. So that's
epistemology. No, I didn't mean to do that. No. So yeah, I understand what you're saying.
but
I
yeah,
think
like it's
maybe.
it's equally viable. I'm not saying some like there's no one claiming superiority over a thought process, but um I mean, there are people who don't think about reality who are living much more efficiently than I am. They're having
Huh.
to worry about
Yeah,
less stuff, and like it depends
interesting.
on which regard you're talking about. It's like it's not always good to, it's everything is both a blessing and a curse if you want to call it that. But yeah,
Yeah, no, yeah, I understand.
there
And
is
look,
no grass is
human
not
words
green.
as we have them, the communication that we have it right now isn't ever going to be perfect. So don't get hung up too much on the accuracy of the word. If you want to use something, I'm not going to judge you for using it out of
Yeah, but
context. But that's what you know.
conveyance is really important, and
True, I
language
agree.
is like
But I think I'd rather understand your intention than what you're saying. Do you understand what I'm
yeah,
saying?
but you can misinterpret my intention with the words.
Which is why I'll always ask you to clarify if I don't understand something.
Um,
Ooh, that
that's your
was a big one.
subjective nature.
Huh?
That's your subjective nature, though.
Yeah. Well, I think I want clarity over what I extrapolate from my subjective viewpoint.
But
Yeah.
but isn't you're defining clarity for yourself? Therefore, you're just.
Oh yeah, because I have to find a way to process the elements of what you're saying.
But how do you commit to a single belief? Like, how do you commit to a belief and say that the opposite is impossible?
I don't think.
Do you have any concrete beliefs of that sort?
My beliefs are kind of changing and evolving. I don't think that I really understand everything in totality. So I wouldn't say that I do have a committed belief. If I find out something that's what?
Don't you have a committed belief in anything?
I have a committed belief in a being that resides outside of our realm, or outside of our what's the correct term? Outside of our reality?
I guess, like space, time, or
outside of our universe.
Yeah, because I believe that an agent started evolution. I don't believe that evolution occurred, randomly. I mean, guys, that's not a perfect view, but that's just what I believe. That concretely, that's where I.
You think
big Earth, guys, big Earth.
You think God started causation?
I don't think that his name is God, his or her. I don't think that it's a being or an energy, or I don't really know what it is.
Neutralistic.
Yeah, I think that an agent is the most accurate. Would that be okay to use in place of God or the creator?
I don't think so.
I admire obscure neutralism, but not while.
No, I'm not neutral. No, I'm not neutral. I'm definitely swayed by my opinion. Like, I have opinions, but I'm just saying that for the purpose of argumentation, I don't think that they would be very beneficial, because I don't think anybody really shares my beliefs on the fact that, the altruistic agent that, is outside of this, reality is. I don't think everybody shares the idea that he's benevolent and loving.
Okay.
I don't think everybody shares the idea that there is such a thing, dude.
You don't think anybody shares that belief?
No, I said everybody doesn't.
Oh, so everybody doesn't share the belief?
Yeah, like
I don't think everybody should share that belief. That would be a very limiting view to take.
Surely you think that your view is the right one, though.
I mean, I'm open to new facts. Say if science discovers something.
Why would you entertain it more emphatically than the entertainment of the existence of Spider-Man?
Yeah, look, he's not saying that his opinion is just as much, it's not. He's not as. What would you say? He is more confident in his opinion than he is in the Spider-Man thing. But the question is, does he think his opinion is correct? And the answer must be right. It has to be yes, right? There's no. I don't see how you couldn't think your opinion was correct. That's the whole reason you hold it as an opinion.
So you can't. Yeah. So you, in sync, you're saying you can't hold a degree of opinions.
What?
I'm saying that anything that you genuinely do hold as your opinion is something that you think is true.
That's just unique. That's just unique to my perspective. That doesn't mean it's right. I mean, I accept the fact that if it's not right, then it's not right. But I mean, so far it's very theoretical. Yeah, I believe it is right. I believe. So
you should be able to convince me.
Yeah, but how do you be?
Well, not necessarily, because if my belief is incorrect, then your belief is correct.
Of course. Why would I think what I'm saying is that either you should be able to convince me, or you should be able to convince yourself that you were wrong to think it.
I should be able to convince you.
Either that, or you should be able to convince yourself that you were wrong to begin with to think such a thing.
Well, this is one of those things where I think it's just not really beneficial to contemplate it, because it's more like a theoretical thing. It's highly theoretical. I don't have enough basis to prove it to you unfalsifiably.
I'm pro-theory. I'm not asking you to prove
it. I understand, but there's no point in me trying to prove something that I hold as a theory.
I'm not asking you to prove it.
Well,
What I'm
Well, then
saying is,
convince you?
yeah, because you are convinced, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
saying, like, can't you
How
convince
did you
me?
come to that conclusion? He just wants to know how you came to that conclusion.
How I came to the conclusion?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Based-
what's the evidence for your position?
Based on anecdotal qualia. It's not really
Yeah, but you can
something you
still
share with
qualify it. I mean, you can qualify it, though.
No, I can't really qualify
Yeah, you
it.
can. It's called articulation.
Well, articulation, articulation based on theory? My
No,
own personal qualia?
based on your attempt to approximate your
Well, it's
qualia, yes.
well, if I believe that I have interactions with a being that's benevolent and loving, and that's the being that resides outside of space-time, then
No, but why do you believe that?
based on my
Because of
anecdotal
his
qualia,
personal
which is that what you want me to
No,
share?
I'm
or-
asking. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm asking what specifically
Well,
justifies
it might be cheesy to you, but I just think that my existence in place has been preserved for a reason or a purpose to
Yeah, there is a reason that you exist.
Right.
But I don't see how that indicates your conclusion.
So maybe I don't understand what you mean by conclusion then. What
So
do you
your
So
conclusion.
how do you come about to this position that there is a God and you have experienced qualia that qualifies that there is a God?
to me?
Like, what do you know that we don't know?
Perhaps I have to give that a lot more thought before I answer that, because I don't really want to give you something that I just understand right now. I would probably have to write that down and kind
I
of
mean,
look
we
at
could
that
help
and
you think it out,
reflect.
though, right?
Yeah,
Well,
You could just tell us what you've got now,
perhaps.
and we could do it as like a collaborative thing.
there's no judgment. I think,
So, what do I want? So, I would believe in an agent. And my anecdotal quality or my conclusion for believing in an agent is really kind of the fact that not the fact, but it's I guess the probability that I'm still alive. I should be dead.
but why would you
And I've
attribute
had,
that to a deity?
well, because I've had experiences, which I guess could be schizophrenic or maybe just a.
Or they could just be pure chance.
They could be a bicameral mind. They could be the bicameral mind as well.
Okay, well, I don't know, guys. I don't know. Like I really to put this accurately, I wouldn't be able to like accurately.
Then why do you
Okay,
hold
so I
the
guess what I'm
position?
asking is, like, there are like several different interpretations at least that you could use. Why did you settle on an agent?
Well, because of my relation to the agent, I guess I talk with God. So
Oh, okay. So you're saying because you have an experience of talking to the universe, let's say, which you consider to be authentic, that you get to draw the conclusion that it's an agent.
Well, that's perfectly
Perhaps.
valid in his point of view, as long as he doesn't claim it's objective.
I mean, I think implicit in the claim that it's true is the claim that it is objective.
But your dreams are true. Doesn't mean they're objective.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does, Dan.
No,
I would say that for
so
this
your dreams are false.
conversation, I would say that for this conversation, my main reason for shying away from it is that I don't feel like I could do it the justice of explaining it all in one go. I think I would have to write it down. Do you know what I mean? Give it more thought.
For sure.
And I wouldn't want I wouldn't want to use the wrong terminology that's accepted.
Mhm.
So just
And you'd probably find me to be a pedantic prick because I would
It's
go
okay.
on and on about your terminology.
well, it's not
Yeah, but
that. I don't think that you I don't think that you being present would necessarily. I do become more or less open depending on who's in the room, but that's only because the relative conversation, you know, like certain people might find it valuable, other people might not. So, like for instance, when me and, you know, Terrence and Angufar were all sharing our kind of our experiences with these different things that are kind of more, I guess they've experienced things based on their experimentation with like DMT and these different substances, and I think that I respect that. I love hearing about those opinions, like, and I wouldn't ever try and what do you call it? I would never try and quantify it, you know. But I do love it.
What if it could be quantified, though?
Again, that's kind of that's ancillary. Like, I don't really care.
I think he could quantify the nature of God by, like, he could just say the phenomenological nature of God is his brain state when he's communicating to the said God he communicates with. So,
Do you
like,
mean
he
it's
could
insular?
validly... What?
I was just asking him if he means insular. Because you said you said insulary, right?
I meant to
What
say
the fuck does that
is it
mean?
ancillary? How's it in?
What do you mean ancillary?
Not insala.
Yeah,
Do you mean
think it's...
ancillary?
Oh yeah, ancillary. Yeah, I think that's kind of ancillary. Like, if we're going to talk about quantifying it, if you could quantify it, I'm not interested in going down that.
I think
yet.
you mean
like,
peripheral.
No, I think peripheral and ancillary are they.
They're not synonyms. Ancillary looks like the opposite of what you mean.
Well, let me see then. I have not. I thought the last time that I looked at the definition for this word, it was accurate. But hold on, let me look.
Oh, pickiness in articulation is rough on me. As an
Providing necessary support
English.
to the primary activities or operation of an organization, institution, industry, or system. A person whose work provides necessary support to the primary activities of an organization, institution, or industry. So an adjective is the first definition.
Yeah, it sounded like you were saying it was irrelevant, though. That sounded like how you were using it.
I'm not saying it's irrelevant. I'm saying that
You're
it is
saying
a branch.
it's not directly relevant.
It's a branch off, and based on that definition,
It's a tangent.
Yes, that's a better.
Yeah, that's
a better word.
peripheral. That is peripheral, though.
So I wasn't necessarily wrong in using that, and I don't want you to
mean-
think that I'm saying that you saying quantifying it is useless. It's I don't want that. I'm not interested in it. You know what I mean?
No,
Like, to
I
me,
know
it's a branch
that
off.
is.
It's not
Yeah.
the main topic. So
I understand what you're saying, but I mean, I'm not sure that that's appropriate.
well, it's appropriate because we could start a whole brand new discussion kind of flowing off. But
Mhm.
I'm totally open to a new discussion topic if you guys want to bring it up.
Okay. Insync, did you ever have a psychedelic experience?
Yeah, dude, I've had dozens of psychedelic experiences.
What, like
Let's-
acid, mushroom?
Yeah, I've taken acid, mushrooms, and DMT. Multiple times, all of them.
What are your opinions?
My opinions are that it's a hallucinatory drug. That is what it is. I can reductively collapse those experiences. I've done so for over 2 years successfully.
Like pharmacological and neurological implications, is that your tool of deduction?
Pharmacological, neurological, and psychological, yes.
Okay. Do you
Commonality.
do you
The
acknowledge
commonality
the
between
different
the
states of
experiences
consciousness?
Yeah, of course, there are altered states of consciousness. The
Do you think
commonality
the-
between psychedelic experiences comes down to psychological archetypes.
Fucking Jungian?
Yeah, dude.
Wait, you really a Jungian?
I think Jung had a great number of good ideas.
I think so too, but I'm not a Jungian. Would you consider
I don't consider myself a Jungian, but I think that like the psychological archetypes are one of his best ideas.
What are you? Like what are you in that personality type thing? Like INFP.
I'm an Entropy. ENTP.
Oh. I'm an INFP.
Yeah.
Man. Weird.
Feeling, eh?
I don't know, man. They just fucking labeled me like that. I mean, am I really just a construct of concepts? Like, really?
Yeah, you are, basically.
No, I don't want to. No, why do I exist? Oh shit, I'm imploding.
That's it, dude. Game over.
What a fractal cascade, man.
What happened to Venny? You went to tavern.
I'm sure he just wanted a drink.
Yeah, maybe. Crambo just ditched us. What the fuck? Little piece of shit.
What do you think about the big crunch theory?
Oh,
I
shit.
think it's inaccurate.
How you think?
Why?
Was the question why?
Yeah, why? How do you know
Why
it's not going to
inaccurate?
reverse at a point after a threshold?
Because that would be an infinite regress.
That's not an infinite regress. Like,
It
what
is.
if-
There's no.
what
That's
if-
not an explanation. Like the
What
big
if the
crunch
red
doesn't.
shift-
No. But the point I'm making is this: even if the big crunch were true, it wouldn't solve the problem.
No, it would just restart everything.
No, but
Probably.
it wouldn't solve the problem of how there are things. It wouldn't help us understand anything.
Oh,
You can say that the big crunch is the reason that like our universe is expanding, but
Yeah.
the big crunch does not explain how there are things that are expanding, which is the real question.
but
dark
that would be due to the Big Bang, right? And then it would just
No,
start.
I know,
With the
but what I'm saying is,
expansion.
why is there a Big Bang?
Why is there an expanding?
Yeah, what started in the first place?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah,
So
but that
the big crunch.
doesn't rule out.
With the causation, what if
No,
the
no, but I'm
causation
saying-
isn't
I'm saying-
temporal?
No,
What
but
if the
that's exactly
causation
that
isn't
is
temporal?
exactly what I'm saying, Terrence. I'm saying that the thing that is responsible for the existence of things is atemporal, and that's why the big crunch doesn't make any sense.
Okay, yeah.
You're
Sure.
presupposing you're presupposing your position on the
No,
atemporal.
I'm not presupposing it, dude. I've derived it very carefully. I wrote a paper on it, which you can read if you like.
So you
Okay.
think like the big freeze is?
No,
Or
I
send me
think
the
that.
link.
Okay. I'm actually rewriting it at the moment, but I'll just send you the old link. No, the universe, the Big Bang, doesn't need to be explained beyond the singularity. All you have to do is explain the existence of physics, and then you've got the answer.
But what about black holes? Like, like black
What about
holes?
them?
Like black holes?
Yeah, what about them, man?
They're orbital mechanics,
Yeah, they have orbital mechanics, so
but aren't they a bit wonky?
they're wonky.
To say
What
the
the fuck
least.
does that mean, dude? They're fucking wonky.
Yeah, like how do you weigh causality, space-time, or special relativity, and then the orbital mechanics of spinning black holes?
Yeah, it's called DM theory. I just sent you a link to it.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome, dude.
But we don't really know much, right, about dark energy and so on.
Funnily enough, you only need to know so much before you can guess at the rest.
It's like dieting. We guess something, then we figure and guess
Something
something
like that.
else. Yeah.
It's more like we have a math problem where we're collecting information by doing the math until we have like done enough symbol transformation to have come up with enough information to answer the original question, and then we plug the information that we've derived into the formula that we're using and we get the correct answer. It's not that in the beginning we didn't have all that information. We did. We just had to do some work to reveal it.
Yeah.
Naturals.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, is your name Matthew? What the hell?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So this is a paper on natural simulation theory. Pretty interesting.
Well, it's called tautological metaphysics, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But basically, it's what's your thesis statement?
Everything which is logically possible exists because nothingness cannot be.
That was that was the wisdom you dropped earlier.
Yeah, dude.
I mean,
It's the
yeah,
most profound thing that I've ever discovered. People don't know it.
but what about like
Hmm?
what's it? Wait, let me just think about. What about the nature of apermanence?
Mm, there is no such thing.
So entropy doesn't.
Entropy isn't linked to apermanence.
Do you think entropy breaks down logical systems?
No.
That's the how.
Entropy is to do with the distribution of information.
Not really.
Yes, really.
Information can break information. The quality of information can break down with
Let's
the
look up the definition of entropy.
Okay, it's the
entropy.
diffusion of lower, like higher concentration to lower concentration in a gradient in a enclosed system.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
So
so
if
it's
the
to do with the
system,
distribution of energy. Isn't that what I just said?
yes,
Yes, so it is to
but
do with the distribution of energy.
yes, but isn't the distribute like so? Do you consider the distribution of energy could break down
No,
logical?
no.
Why?
Because the distribution of energy doesn't distribute the logic at all. Like you're talking about information versus the thing that defines the information. The thing that defines the information stays there, even if the information leaves.
Yeah, but like if you're talking about
Okay, so look, let me put it to you this way. Physics is a set of rules and variables. Okay, so even if all of the information in physics scatters, the rules and the variables are still there.
You're just saying you're just doing what Plato did, dude.
Yes, of
You're
course, dude.
creating a
Of course
logos.
I am. It's called the dialectic.
Logos, man.
No, I don't call it the logos though.
Or you call it the datalogical metaphysical plane?
I call it data logic.
The datalogical plane.
No, just data logic as an object.
It's an object at the end of space-time.
No, it's an object at the foundation of reality.
Okay? Does it generate reality in a holographic information pattern?
Close. Everything but the word generate is correct. Let's say, projects or sustains reality. In that sense, yeah.
How does it sustain itself?
Because it's the opposite of it is impossible. There's no other way it could be.
Why doesn't it encompass impossibility?
It does encompass impossibility in your
Then
head.
how?
In your
No,
head.
no, no, not
Like
in my head.
listen,
Not in my head.
listen. Impossibility is a mental construct. Right?
So you're
Yeah,
saying impossibility doesn't exist
that's
within.
correct. It doesn't
Okay.
exist outside of the mental space. That's correct, yes.
But what does exist outside the mental space?
Everything else, everything that's logically possible exists, and the only way that things that are logically impossible can exist is inside your head.
But so all of logic can be conceptualized within linguistics.
No, logic as a linguistic system isn't what I mean. I mean the
So
consistent
logic
relationships.
exists.
No,
Logic
dude, I mean,
exists outside of
dude,
linguistics.
we need to
Yeah.
make the distinction here. There's objective logic and there's subjective logic. Okay, so subjective logic is the system that we use linguistics to create. It's this system that we use to model the world, and it's the system we use to update our system that we model with, right? That's subjective
Yeah.
logic.
Yeah.
Objective logic is the consistencies that exist in the real world. And it's from objective logic that we have derived subjective logic.
So you're just, dude, you're
I'm doing a Plato. You got me.
but you're just objectifying. No, you're creating an object
I'm
that
not
just.
creating it. I'm describing
I
it.
mean, yeah, okay. Call it a discovery rather than an invention. It's cool, but
Exactly, dude.
dude, this is, you shouldn't be doing this, but you are. But yeah, you're just quantifying the mystery of the human condition into like a logical framework, which you think is superior because of your vocabulary.
No,
'Cause you
not because of
can,
my vocabulary. I think it's superior because other people, after we've talked about it for a while, agree that it is superior. Like the
uh,
model that I'm using is something that other people cannot tell me that, like, they can't
that's
fault
what
it. They can't.
religions do, bro.
No,
You're
dude,
pulling.
no. Religions do not get to make the claim that when they're talking to atheists don't think that they have a problem. Like, they don't think that they can identify flaws. Atheists identify flaws with religion all the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying everybody who looks at my idea fails to generate a flaw. Like, give it a go. You can't do it.
Because you're encompassing all the flaws within the sustainability of the object.
Exactly. So maybe that's the correct way to do it.
You're just setting up logical traps for people who are linguistically incapable of reaching the end of your object, which is
Okay,
like,
so then are you linguistically capable?
I'm not. I'm just an observer, man.
Come on, man. Like, if I'm cheating somehow, then it can be demonstrated, right?
Yes, but I would not take the burden of proof
Okay,
to
so but you're
disprove.
saying, but you think someone else will be able to demonstrate that I'm cheating? Is that right?
Most people will try, but they won't be able to, because there's a ceiling to our conceptualization
Of
with
course.
linguistics.
hmm
There's a
No, but what I'm
metaphysical
saying though,
end to the. Yeah.
look, what I'm saying though is that if either my system is that ceiling, or my system tries to go beyond that ceiling, or it's not that ceiling, right? Those are the three options.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if my system is the ceiling, that means other people should agree to it. And if my system goes beyond the ceiling, that means that it's invalid, and that they can say how it's invalid. They can point out that I overstepped the boundaries of epistemology, right?
And if it's incorrect, they can disprove you. Yes. See, you're
Exactly.
setting up another logical trap. You're setting up a trichotomy. Now you're doing a trichotomy. Man.
Yeah, dude. Do you have a counter argument?
I created that object for you to write about it.
It's a pretty
And
good
that
one,
was
man.
pretty cool. Nice one. You have written well.
Yeah, no worries, dude. I only wanted to make you proud.
Man, just create a religion, tell everybody to give you 10% of their wages, and just,
Good
fuck it.
idea. You know what? I'm gonna do exactly that.
Don't tell them to kill themselves. Like, aside from making a suicide cult, just,
But what
tell
if I
them
tell them to give me all their money and then kill themselves?
I mean, go on ahead, man. Like, they like natural selection. Like, I would vouch for
Yeah, dude.
natural
That's the
selection.
stuff.
Like,
I'm sorry.
that's like a really weird way to justify killing, though.
Yeah, dude, definitely. Look, man, I gotta go. I had a really nice time talking to you. I would love to discuss this kind of stuff with you again.
Yeah. Alright, man.
Catch you later, dude. Have a good one.
You too.
Thank you for listening. Like, share, subscribe, and join us in the Nameless Debates Discord. We hope to see you there.